Today's video is sponsored by Moft. Ooh, there it is. Oh yeah, look at that. Hey, it's Chris. Today I'm gonna show you how to outfit your iPad mini the right way. I got a bunch of accessories here, one of which is probably the coolest iPad USB-C accessory I've ever encountered. So it's not just for the mini. If you've ever wondered, how do you turn your iPad mini into a mini workstation where you can actually get a ton of stuff done, it's not just for consuming, you're gonna get a lot out of this video. All right, so the mini that I'm using right here is the latest, the greatest. It's the iPad mini 6. Let me take this cover off to just show you. This is that starlight color, and you can see I've actually been using it. This color is sort of like halfway between gold and silver, kind of a champagne-y color. In terms of specs, we're talking 256 gigs fully loaded storage. And this beauty is Wi-Fi and cellular. So that's where you're gonna get these antenna lines here. People always ask, what is that? Well, those are your antenna lines. So if you wanna make sure you're always gonna be connected, don't wanna have to rely on your cell phone to tether stuff, this is for that. All said and done, this configuration costs $799. So definitely for people who are taking this device seriously, and that's without the Apple Pencil or cover of any sort or any other type of accessory like we're about to get into. So yeah, on the one hand, it's just the iPad mini, but on the other hand, if you wanna deck this thing out, if you want to outfit it in a way that turns it into an actual productivity powerhouse, you can do that. That's what this video is about. Basically, accessories are going to help you maximize the potential of this mini machine. Now, you guys already know, when it comes to the Apple Pencil, I'm automatically going to slap a paper like on it because I like that product. So that's a given. We don't even have to talk about it right now. Things I do want to show you today, though, include a mini keyboard. You know, iPad mini keyboard, gotta be portable. And this just recently came out, by the way. I've been waiting to get my hands on it. A slim, light, portable mouse, because why else would you get the iPad mini if you don't wanna be portable? And then the craziest USB-C hub I've ever seen. Why? Because it has keys that you can press. It's like a keyboard extension on top of all the input-output. Along with some other cool accessories, but look, you can kinda notice I have a bit of a blackout theme going on with this, so it's all gonna look pretty amazing when we're done. Now, the accessories I have to show you today are really gonna work best with a stand of some sort. And while I like Apple's default stand here, I mean, it's useful, it gives you this one angle, and at least it's lightweight, you know, and offers a little bit of protection. I wanna go beyond the basics. This design's been around forever, you know, see what else is out there. So that brings us to the Snap tablet stand from Moft, which is really versatile. So basically you got this adhesive magnet that you stick on the back that peels off nice without any residue. And then you have the actual stand, which you can put on here and it snaps right on. And then look, it's just super thin on here when you're not using it. You could take it all the way off, but it's just like barely there otherwise. All right, and then it's kind of like origami. You just fold it out at the angle that you need it to be at. So right off the bat, here's the default angle. Works great. But wait, you can stick it on its side too, so you can get that angle, which is great. But then check this out. This little piece bends in here, so you can bend that in for a different angle. And then what you end up with is 3 different angles for portrait and horizontal, so 6 total. It's honestly like doing origami. It's really satisfying. And then if you don't want it on anymore, take it right off. And then what I'm also gonna do is throw on the Moft Snap tablet case because it goes together with the Snap stand. You can actually buy them as a pair if you want to. So it's magnet friendly. That means it works with this, got full protection, built-in pencil holder. Oh yeah, that's nice and rugged. That's definitely gonna offer a ton of protection. All right, there we go. Now we're in business. Nice fit. This thing feels like a tank now. Cause you know, if you're gonna be taking this around, throwing it in your bag and stuff, you definitely wanna keep it in good shape. So if I'm just gonna have this around the office, maybe I don't need a case. So if you need a case that's not gonna get beat up, this thing is definitely a great option. Of course, the iPad mini has Touch ID and that remains perfectly accessible up here as well. Camera is still nice and accessible. Then you can stash your Apple Pencil over here too. And you might be like, why would you wanna do that? Well, look, I lost an Apple Pencil for like a month and a half because I didn't know where it went because I stashed it somewhere and the pencil got disconnected and I couldn't find it. And this prevents that exact scenario. So now I should be able to come in and snap this case on, yep, just like that. And now I can use these together for quite a system. And if you wanna see some other great accessories for the Apple ecosystem from Moft, I made a whole video about those, so I'll link it up in the description. All right, let's get the keyboard and mouse going here. This is the Logitech MX Keys Mini in the black colorway, and this is the Logitech Pebble i345. If you didn't already know, I'm a huge Logitech keyboard fan. I do love the full-size MX Keys keyboard, one of my favorite keyboards of all time. Ooh, look at that. That is a nice keyboard. Wow, I love this. You know what it reminds me of is when you do a Chrome delete on a car, you take all the Chrome off and you black it out. That's sort of what this feels like. I'm sure the video is gonna fail to capture how amazing this keyboard looks in real life, but however good it looks on the video, it looks 1,000 times better in real life. Now the Pebble here, I featured this when it first came out on the channel. I had it in a different color then, but this is one of the only mice on the market that I'm aware of still that was specifically designed to pair with an iPad. And I've actually never seen it in the black colorway before either, but you know what? I'm really, really liking it. And I think these two are gonna pair really well together. Oh yeah, look at that. So what? This sort of feels like the Ninja setup of iPad mini setups. I'm really liking the angle of this keyboard. I can tell you that right away. This is a keyboard I'm gonna wanna spend a lot of time with. Now, just recently at my desk setup, I bought one of Apple's new Magic keyboards with the Touch ID button because Touch ID, right? And I have my Mac in clamshell mode and that was gonna make things easier on me. But even with that Touch ID, you know, I may just log in with my Apple Watch because I don't know how I cannot use this keyboard everywhere I go. First things first, let's get it paired. All right, are we connected? Yes. Oh, Jarvis is open. Yeah, if you're wondering, I'm still using Jarvis, except it's named Jasper now. They had to do a name change because Marvel was gonna sue. I'm getting distracted because I love Jarvis so much, but I'll link it up for you down in the description. And look, I got the dark mode enabled also on the iPad mini, so it's all meshing together right now. So I'm gonna go to Logitech's website here. Ooh, these keys type like a dream. Honestly, they're kind of springy. It's a different sort of keyboard besides what Apple's doing with their switches on the Magic Keyboard and what a mechanical keyboard is like. This is like a third way to go. It's that different, I feel like, and it's nice. I really like it. Apple's Magic Keyboard, on the other hand, is a little bit too just straightforward almost, but this is just hard to beat, honestly, if you have to do a lot of typing. The keys conform to your fingers a little bit. It's a nice give. And on top of that, I mean, it is a full-size keyboard. Obviously, it's bigger than the iPad mini itself. So if you're hauling it with you, you're serious about typing. But I like the backlight. I couldn't believe this. I was at the Apple store and I was asking about that Magic Keyboard with the Touch ID. And I was like, is it backlit yet? And he was like, well, it should be, but let me look. And he checked and it wasn't. No backlighting on Apple's official Magic Keyboard. Can you believe that? So this has backlighting so you can actually use it in the dark, which is perfect. But here's something you're just not gonna find elsewhere. See that smiley face there? That's an emoji key. It's dedicated to emojis. Who has that? That's pretty unique here. Something else that I really like in this Zoom world that we live in is a dedicated mic mute button, right? Sometimes you just want a quick way to mute your mic without having to mess around with stuff in the software. All right, so we're gonna pop into notes here and I'm gonna give this a little test and tell you what I think. Hey, it's Chris. Chris loves coffee. Not just any coffee, but nitro coffee specifically. I'm not sure what else to tell you. This thing honestly is a dream. It's a dream come true. I love the way it types. I love the way it looks. And I love the unique features. Ooh, I just saw something. And I think I know what it does. I'm gonna test it out here. I don't know if this is gonna work on the iPad mini or if it's just for a Mac. Let's see. Screenshot button. Who doesn't need this? Now, obviously, you can drag the Apple Pencil up from the corner if you're holding the iPad, or you can do like Command-Shift-4, whatever the shortcut is, and that's great too, but a dedicated button for screenshots, that's pretty cool. And the other button that I'm noticing on here that you're just not gonna find just on any old keyboard is this button, which is a dictation button. So if you wanna be able to voice type really quickly, and you just want that shortcut, even though there are other shortcuts. I've showed you guys the shortcuts in the past. That's just handy too. You might as well have a dedicated button for it, right? All right, let's talk about this mouse. Look at that. That looks amazing. And you know what? It's not even that expensive. This keyboard's 99 bucks. I think the Pebble here is like 30 bucks. Am I right? Let me look. Yeah, it's 30 bucks. And you know what's weird? It feels so light that it almost feels like holding air. Not quite, but it's astoundingly light. You wouldn't have guessed how light this thing actually turns out to be. The trade-off sometimes is that plasticky things can kind of feel cheap, and this doesn't feel quite as premium as like the MX Master mouse that pairs with this from Logitech. But that said, I can honestly tell you it doesn't feel cheap, like bad quality. So could you take this setup to the coffee shop or into a meeting, or could you even just turn this into your actual workstation? If what you do is kind of light computing, mostly like emails and communicating with people, typing, writing, could you just take this with you into the office, bring it home for your work at home, you know, take it with you? Yeah, this is a really cool setup for that. What I've always liked about this mouse too, by the way, is the scroll wheel feels good, which is obviously good, but you can program what that button does in the middle because a lot of mice don't have that scroll wheel. It's just the 2 buttons. So it's actually pretty useful in ways that other mice aren't. All right, this looks amazing, but let's get to the grand finale. I know this is the thing everyone's waiting for. It's the Hyperdrive. And its official title is the Media USB-C Hub. And what's different about it is not only does it support HDMI 4K 60, not only does it have an SD slot and a micro SD slot, 2 separate slots, by the way, for hooking up your camera if you want to do photo, video import. Not only does it have USB-C with PD 60 watts, so you can charge through it. Not only does it have USB-A, which, let's be honest, everyone hates USB-A at this point, but there's some accessories that are so legacy, you might as well have the port at least. Not only does it have 3.5mm audio jack, some people really love that. I tend to just love the wireless life and don't really need that or want that, but it's here if you do. But the real draw here is that it's got some media keys. And honestly, that's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm interested in. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. There it is. Play, pause, fast forward, and rewind right here. Oh, and they click so nicely too. Let me put this up to the mic. I wasn't expecting how nice they click. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna remove the case so that we can just see what this looks like plain and naked on here. I'm gonna pop this on, nice click. All right, get our stand back here. Now we're in business. All right, so I got Apple Music loaded up here. Let's test these buttons out, the media buttons, ready? Oh yeah, it works. Whoa, that's great. Now, I can't play too much of this song, otherwise Reach Records is gonna be like, hey, you owe us some royalties. But needless to say, it works. And let me just try to skip some tracks here. Yeah, I can go back and forward here. This is really awesome. All right, do you understand why this is so cool? I've been griping about this for a while, and I'm so glad that this is here. Number one, if you wanted to switch tracks in the past, you had to go into Control Center and do it there, which isn't the end of the world. I've always said that. It's not a huge deal. But even this amazing keyboard here, it only has play pause. So you're actually extending your keyboard a little bit here on top of being able to hook this into a 4K monitor. Not only can you import your footage here, which is amazing, by the way. My preferred method of importing photos over the last couple years has shifted into wanting to import it into Photos or Lightroom on my iPad rather than going straight to my Mac, because I just love the process. And actually that's cool too. I didn't realize that you get a little light there, an indicator light, to let you know that things are plugged in and working. I get excited over the littlest things, right? But that's why people subscribe to this channel. You know, I've seen a lot of amazing accessories over the years. I'm just gonna fold this down so you can see a top-down view. So if the question is, can you turn your iPad mini into something super functional where you can actually get some serious work done? The answer obviously is yes. Now, do you need the fully upgraded version of the iPad like I'm showing off here? No, obviously not, especially with cloud storage and whatever. And honestly, this probably wouldn't be my favorite video editing setup, but again, for just like light, normal computer work, I think this is like a dream setup here, honestly. Obviously, I'm gonna link this stuff up in the description for you, along with anything else that I talked about today, so go down there, explore, check it out. Also, later today, I'm gonna be recording an episode of the Apple Insider podcast, so make sure to get yourself subscribed over there if you wanna see what that's all about. We're gonna talk about iPad creativity, we're gonna talk about me and the YouTube channel here. Should be really interesting. But yeah, one more look at this thing, because it's too cool. Look at those buttons, I love it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.